of Vietnam. Vietnam is located in a region considered the cradle of mankind, where the first agriculture center practicing wet rice farming. To begin with, history of Vietnam. History of Vietnam is ruled by different foreign countries and dynasties, where the Vietnamese people has had to launch hundreds of struggles and uprising of foreign aggression. Vietnam has a history of tribes uniting to form strong dynasties. The first dynasty that many consider to be the start of the Vietnamese state was the Hong Bang dynasty, which was ruled by the legendary Hong Kings in 11 BC. The Han dynasty from China was usurped Vietnam to their empire. Vietnam would remain a part of the Chinese Empire for over 1,000 years. It was in 938 AD that Ngo Quyen defeated the Chinese and gained independence for Vietnam. Vietnam was then ruled by a succession of dynasties including the Lý Tran and the Lý dynasty. Under the Lý dynasty, the Kingdom of Vietnam reached its peak, expanding to the south and conquering a portion of the Khmer Empire. In 1858, the French came to Vietnam, and in 1893, the French incorporated Vietnam into French Indochina. France continued to rule until it was defeated by the Communist North Vietnam and the anti-communists of the South. The Vietnam War raged for years between the two countries, with the US supporting the South and the communist countries supporting the North. The North eventually won, uniting the country. The geography of Vietnam is a long, narrow nation shape, like the letter S. It is in the Southeast Asia, on the eastern edge of the peninsula known as the Indochina. Its neighbors include China to the north and Laos, and Cambodia to the west. The South China Sea lies to the east and south. The mountains of Anang Cordillera rise over the most of the western side of Vietnam, while a 1,000-mile coastline dominates the east. At its narrowest point, Vietnam is only 30 miles wide. Two of the Vietnam's largest rivers, the Mekong in the south and the Red in the north. And at the South China Sea, the huge swampy plains called the deltas. These regions are home to the most of the country's people and provide fertile ground to grow rice and many other crops. The language of Vietnam is spoken by 75 million people as their native language. Vietnamese is the national and official language of Vietnam. It belongs to the Austroasiatic family and uses the Cho Nom script. The language is divided into three dialects: Northern, spoken around in Hanoi; Central, and Southern, Ho Chi Minh City. It borrows heavily from the Chinese and English that is written in common phrases and words that can come in hand in hand.
So we have here the people, race, and ethnicity in Vietnam. Vietnam is a multinational country with 54 ethnic groups. Among ethnic minorities, there are largest ones and smallest ones. The largest ones are Thai, Muang, Hua, Mir, and Nong, with a population of around 1 million each, while the smallest are Brau, Roman, Odo, with several hundred people each. A number of ethnic minorities had mastered some farming techniques. They grow rice plants in swamp paddy fields and carried out irrigation. Others went hunting, fishing, collecting, and lived a semi-nomadic life. And then they have different culture, because they are an ethnic groups with different minorities. Next is the national costume and representation in Vietnam. So we provided here each sample photos of the national costume and representation of Vietnam for you to see what it looks like. So here are the first one. The traditional Vietnamese dress for men is known as áo dài. It is long silk tunic with a conventional looking snub collar and it's buttoned down on the left side. So there is also a feminine version of this one, which is the áo Roman. The áo dài Vietnam's traditional dress has a feminine version as a feminine version as well, vastly similar to its masculine counterpart. The tindo ao dai is one striking difference. The silk tunic flows down to the ankles. And the nanla. This is also in ao dai, but it's paired with nanla, a conical hat. These hats are made from the leaves of palm trees and are often worn as a fashion statement or used to write poetry on. The next is the Thai ethnic dress. The Thai ethnic dress in Vietnam is elegant and demure. It consists of a plain blouse and a long skirt, which are embroidered with motifs of the sun, flowers, and dragons. This one is the Hmong people in Vietnam. They prefer to dress in a more sophisticated, yet vibrant and colorful fashion with a bohemian flair to it. And the last one is the Cham. This is the Cham people, an ethnic group also in Vietnam. The traditional clothing of the Cham women may not be as colorful or bright as the rest, but it has a certain charm to it. Okay, so we have here also the politics and political system in Vietnam. So unlike other countries, there are 4 forms of government in Vietnam, which is the socialist state, a widely used by Marxist-Leninist parties, theories, and governments to mean a state under the control of a vanguard party that is organizing the economic, social, and the political affairs. And the unitary state, a state governed as a single entity, which the central government is ultimately supreme. And also the communist state, also known as the Marxist-Leninist state parties, a one-party state that is administered and governed by a communist party guided by Marxist-Leninism. The last one is a one-party state, a form of government where the country is ruled by a single political party, meaning one political party exists and the forming of other political parties is forbidden.
Education in Vietnam is a state-run system of public and private education run by the Ministry of Education and Training. It is divided into 5 levels. Tapos, primary, secondary, tapos, di na maaaraw kung ano pa. And then, formal education consists of 12 years of education basic. Basic education consists of 5 years of primary education, 4 years of di na maaaraw pa. Sige lang, di na maaaraw. Economy and currency. Vietnam is a densely populated developing country that has been transitioning from the bamboo. Tapos na siya naman. Ngayon, ano pa ba dapat? Vietnamese authorities have reaffirmed their commitment to economic modernization in tapos ano pa, di ba? Vietnam joined the World Trade Organization in January 2007, which has promoted more competitive export-driven industries. Currency in Vietnam. Vietnam is a very cheap by American and Euro standards, a good meal, and a local restaurant offering less at tapos religion and cultural beliefs. Vietnam religion currently consists of 6 major religions as follows: Catholicism, Buddhism, Protestantism, Muslim, Caudalism, Hauha Buddhism. Cultural beliefs. Vietnamese ancestor worship. With the perception that anything else in the land.
Martial arts in Vietnam. Vietnam has a very well-developed tradition of martial arts that is heavily influenced by Chinese. The Viet Vo Dao, the Vietnamese martial arts philosophy guides the martial arts practice in the country. Next is religions and festivals of Vietnam. Most people of Vietnam identify with the 3 major religions of Taoism, Buddhism, and Confucianism. Catholic followers are also growing in the nation. Next is Vietnamese arts and literature. Literature in Vietnam has greatly evolved over the years from romanticism to realism. And next is number 4, the Vietnamese. Vietnamese music and dance. Vietnam is associated with a rich tradition of dance and music. Next is the clothing of Vietnam. The traditional clothing of the Vietnamese people changed significantly from time to time and depended largely on the whims. Let's proceed to the traditions and customs. The burning votive paper. When visiting Vietnam, many are our travelers and friends who wonder why Vietnamese people burn colored papers. These papers are known as votive papers, which can be houses, clothes, fake money that are made of paper. Next is the animist beliefs. In popular Vietnamese culture, the animistic folk religions are melded with rather than supplanted by religions as Hinduism, Buddhism, Confucianism, and Taoism. Next is God of Wealth, Worship and Business. According to Vietnamese conception, Tam Tai is a sort of benefactor to bring fortune into a business. Next is visiting the pagoda by the beginning of the year. When the spring is coming, many Vietnamese go to the pagodas and temples to pray for health, peace, and happiness. Then, the Lunar New Year reunion. The Vietnamese New Year takes place from the first day of the first month of the lunar calendar. Next is the cultural dances and songs. One of their dances are the dragon or lion dance. This yellow and red dragon is a well-known Chinese motif that signifies power and good fortune. Next is the fan dance. As the name suggests, 4 or 5 dancers dance with beautiful fans are a part of the fan dance, which is believed to have originated in meadows and open fields. Next is the hat dance. The hat dance is like the fan dance. It's another incredible cultural dance in Vietnam that brings synchronicity. Next is the lantern dance. This one is a visual delight. Dancers hold and glide in between lanterns, which sometimes surround idols or statues.
So we have heard the gastronomy and food practices. In Vietnam, you will be able to discover the great diversity of the local gastronomy. And also, we have heard the 8 marvelous dishes that you can find in Vietnam. First, banh chu, chi, po, cao lao, kakutu, nem ran, goi khon, and bun bu ho. And also, we have heard the various food practices in Vietnam. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner are the only meals in Vietnam. Vietnamese like watching the news on TV in their mealtime. Young families usually dine out at weekends. The middle-aged like to drink tea after meals, and not all families in Vietnam have dining table.